respect your surroundings.
And it was my size.
Well, that's recorded.
And I found it was
Let's go. Outtakes, baby. Woo woo.
Okay. All right. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello there. Welcome back to the Cinema Asylum Podcast Review Award. Today we are sorry.
That's all right.
Today we are reviewing the season premiere of season 2 of Loki.
Yes.
My favorite live action Marvel actually at the moment.
Really?
In terms of streaming.
Okay.
Loki is great, though.
Except for Moon Knight. I have a soft spot for Moon Knight. And until they make a new Daredevil project, because, it's Daredevil. Anyway.
Well, Gavin, in that case, do you want to do the recap for this episode?
I can do some of it. I can do a brief recap, and then you guys can kind of fill in bits and pieces, because I watched it the day of release, so it's been a few days.
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
But basically, we start out, and it does its own recap at the very beginning of the first season, so it kind of covers, He Who Remains getting killed by Sylvie, Loki getting pushed through the time portal. And the first major thing that we really learn is, against what a lot of fans thought, Loki did not multiverse hop, which was a big theory for a while. Instead, he was, what we end up learning is called time slipping. So instead of picture different lines, instead of going horizontally across the different lines as universes, he's actually going back and forth on the same line, the same universe, which has huge implications, which we'll get into later once we actually start talking about the episode overall. So he's time slipping back and forth in the same time, and we see him running from Mobius, because at this point in time, Mobius has no clue who he is, and through this chase, he starts slipping back and forth, and finally gets to the point to where they're able to kind of find a way to stop that from happening, because it's horrible to look at, but also so awesome, the animation they do for it. And so in doing so, they go down and find Data himself.
Yeah, Ouroboros, OB.
OB, but also known as Data from the Goonies from forever ago.
And Short Round.
Yep.
And also from Indiana Jones and the...
I just
Yep,
said
yep,
that.
Short
Short
Round.
Round.
He
Yep,
said
Short
Goonies.
Round, Short
I
Round.
said Short Round.
I didn't know what his character's name was.
Oh,
Short
hey,
Round, by the
way, we didn't introduce ourselves. Gavin, as soon as he started talking, I was like, wait, fuck. Hold on. I'm Dylan, one of the two superhero and sci-fi experts. Matthew's the other one. He is not currently in the room for health reasons. Introduce yourself.
Okay. Okay. John Thompson, action, animation expert. Hello.
And I'm the at the moment guest for this episode, possible
Theory
recurring.
expert.
Yeah, at the moment theory expert primarily in Marvel, but I
Yeah.
like to dabble in random things I think about.
And I was going to say, I wanted to dress Marvel as I can. So there you go, viewers. Spider-Man. My favorite Marvel character ever.
So now we've got that out of the way.
It happens. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so we meet Data. I'm gonna refer to him as Data
Yeah, no,
the entire
that's
time,
fine.
but we know it's OB. Basically, he says some interesting things that we'll touch on later. One being that he wrote the handbook, which is interesting. And we get a fun little interaction with him. We get a lot of fun interactions with him. He's the highlight of the episode, in my opinion.
Kenny
other than
Kwan
Tom
is
Hiddleston's
fucking
action, but He's
amazing.
amazing in this episode.
Such a good choice for this.
Yeah, so we get fun interactions with Loki time slipping and interacting with the future while in the past.
Confusing, I know.
Which is, it's confusing, but basically Loki, knowing he's in the past, talks to the past OB to set up helping himself in the future.
Yeah.
That's so smart.
It's a trickle down effect with the time stream.
Which, I mean, let's be honest, it's so satisfying because every time somebody deals with time travel in any media, every fan thinks of like, why don't we just do this? But it's never done because for whatever reason, plot can't handle it. But he finally does it, and it's just, it's actually happening. It's just really satisfying.
It is.
But yeah, so through that we get to this control room with what's called the loom of time, right? The loom.
Yeah.
And we see, and that in itself has a lot of stuff that's really cool that we'll touch on. But basically, in the future at this point, Loki time slips into the future, and he and Mobius work together to kind of save himself from time slipping, stop it from happening by pulling him from time, because he has to erase himself from time, and then gets pulled into the correct time point in time, not timeline, point in time. And that's kind of how it closes out until we see the end credit scene. Oh, well, first of all, before being pulled through time, I'm everywhere. Before being pulled into the correct amount or the correct timeline, we see Sylvie, who's only in this episode for maybe a minute, 2 minutes in total, including the post-credit scene, where she's prying open this elevator, and as Loki is trying to interact with this telephone, which is ringing, which Matrix is all I could think of.
Man, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, but it's the way that he's being pulled through is he has to interact with this telephone, and before picking it up as it's ringing, we get Sylvie prying open an elevator, and she's like, "Oh, hey, there you are," and then he leaves.
I finally found you.
Right, and then he leaves. And
Are your health
we have
issues
Matthew
fixed?
strutting
For now?
in. For now.
Let's just say it was the Multiverse of Madness in there because.
All right. Anyway.
Okay.
Marvel reference. Hey.
But yeah, so we see Sylvie, and then he's erased from time to get pulled into time. Confusing as usual. It's Loki, you know. And so after that, he's pulled back in the right place, and all is well until the next episode. Until we're trying to find out after Loki's revealed through past and time slipping that Kang is the initial creator of the TVA, which was hidden after messing with their memories, and now the main focus will be what the implications of that are for the TVA.
Yeah.
Right.
And then with the post-credit scene, we see Sylvie, and in a McDonald's.
It's like it said it was 1980.
82.
Yeah.
82? Yeah,
1982's McDonald's.
And she's so serene being in that area and being in just experiencing everything to where it's like you can witness her getting off the battle high to where she's just she wants to stay here forever and really experience it, which was interesting because we see her in a McDonald's outfit at some point, if it's not what she was wearing in the elevator, which I think it was, but I could be wrong.
So she's probably gonna get a job there.
Right.
Yeah, she is.
But it's interesting because why she would want to leave eventually, which I'm sure is some Kang variant, something to do with the Kang variant or something to the effect of, shoot, danger, now I got to go find Loki to help me out. Something like that.
It's going to be the TVA because that's what we last saw the TVA doing, was they were being led by what's-her-face, like through a time door.
Right, which is interesting too because that's almost like a new rogue branch of the TVA because we saw a legal meeting for the TVA, which they did legally declare that the TVA stopped pruning. So it's like its own rogue kind of group that's going out and presumably pruning, but I mean, who knows? But yeah, so that's the overview. I don't think I missed many big things, if any.
So what you touched on it. What we were seeing was in the past it was showing Kang's TVA, while the present was the high.
Timekeepers.
Yeah, it was the Timekeepers TVA.
Which at the end of season 1 we saw were fake and robotic.
And,
right.
he pruned a portrait, which you see in the trailer.
Yep.
It revealed the the mural of Kang in his different faces. We got that. We got I don't know. You covered it pretty well. There wasn't a whole lot missing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It was literally just him. Like, we found out Renslayer was there at the start
Yes, right.
because
which a
Renslayer
lot of
helped
people-
King out during the war.
Right, which a lot of people kind of theorized would be a thing purely because in the comics, Renslayer is kind of a love interest to Kang, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've looked at it. It's been since season 1 that I've looked at comics and stuff like that for it. But if I remember correctly, Renslayer was either this love interest or partner or something to Kang in the comics. So it wasn't obviously canon at the time, but it was almost like headcanon that, okay, Renslayer probably helped Kang build this at some point. Which is also, it also makes sense on why, she was a judge in the TVA. She had this high place of authority. It makes sense then that she's given this high place authority because she had some, bigger implication heading into the TVA. So, yeah.
But there are a couple of things that that pretty much stood up for me. One, Obi is the most hilarious character.
Absolutely.
He's great.
He's the most interesting character we have so far this season, in my opinion.
And he's a fantastic actor in general. I mean, people forget how great an actor he is. I mean, he got an Oscar for the one film that came out.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, which good for him.
Absolutely.
And
I still have not seen that.
It's
need to.
fucking good.
It's amazing.
I loved it.
And
earned every
seeing
award
the
that it got.
reunion of Harrison Ford and him when they hugged each other at the Oscars, that was awesome. And second thing, I love nostalgia. So when they showed the Ace McDonald's, I was thinking, I love nostalgia. I grew up watching like commercials back in the 50s through 70s.
We know, old man.
Yeah. Shut up. I'm not that old.
Really? Because if you're watching trailers from the like ads from the 50s and 60s, that makes you a bit old, man. Older than all of us here combined.
But yeah, so OB as a character is there's a few implications with this character that's really interesting. The biggest implication they had for him that I noticed was, obviously we saw Loki interacting with a past OB in order to get things, set himself up in the future, basically. So
I love that. That was great.
Two things. A, we see that originally everybody was assumed, because it is in the comics, that the TVA is in a place of null time, so it's not affected by time. Which this episode flat out proved wrong. It does have its own linear timeline. It's separate from the main timeline, but it does have its own time passage.
Yeah, that's the reason why there was the trickle-down effect from Loki being in the past.
But what's really interesting is that trickle effect worked.
Yes.
Because it means that OB is one of the only characters we know so far that hasn't had his memory affected by Kang. Because if his memory got wiped by Kang in between the past and the present, like everybody else did, then that trickle down wouldn't have worked.
Let's be honest, they just forgot about OB, and that's the reason why
he's been down there
never
so
wiped.
And like part of it kind of would make sense because he could just because he was like, matter of fact, I do have one of these things here when they were making the thing, but he was specifically recalling Loki being there with him. It wasn't like, well, maybe if I look around here somewhere I might have one, but he was specifically recalling Loki being there at that point. So it wasn't like him thinking, oh, maybe I have one lying around. He was actively remembering, which means that his memory wasn't wiped at all.
Right.
I have a hot take on this. I didn't really care for the episode.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I was bored.
What?
It was better than the entire first season of Loki.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big hot take.
This one episode was better than the entire season.
I don't think it was that hot, honestly.
No, it wasn't. The first season wasn't that good anyway.
See, that's the thing. It's not my Loki isn't my favorite MCU show that we've gotten.
No.
It's not.
Yeah.
But this one made me want to be a fan of it.
Yeah.
Because I liked it a lot. I like the pacing. We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
I like the pacing of it. I like the writing. The
Me
fact
too.
that they kept up
Absolutely.
the amount of
Like, you
momentum
could've
that they
told
left
me-
off in with the first season.
You could have told me this specific episode was filmed the second that the last episode in season 1 was filmed, then I would have believed you. Like, you could watch it back to back, and there's no change in pacing whatsoever. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you get in there and instantly it's heart
What we're trying to say is, Matthew, is you could have been more wrong if you tried.
I'm
Well, we're
gonna
not saying that he's wrong because it's just
subjective.
personal
It's subjective.
feelings.
It's
Like
subjective.
he didn't really care about it.
I'm gonna rewatch Quantumania this week and see if that helps.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
there
going
you
to
go.
do that.
Give
I was
yourself
going
something
to.
awful. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Just
All you got to do is just look up images of MODOK, and you're good to go.
yeah.
But I loved the episode. It was funny.
Yeah.
I love the visuals.
Absolutely.
I will admit the one part
And
where Loki kept on shoo, that kind of scared me
What's
a bit.
really fun too is the amount of interaction you have with the sets from the actors while they're filming the scenes, because it shows that it's not just a big huge green screen.
Yeah, it's
Like
not,
they've built these sets, which
Yeah.
is something you don't see a lot anymore, except for these big huge movies. And for a streaming service and a streaming show, I mean, you can't really overly
Hey, we have another fly.
Damn it.
you can't overly expect them to do that, but there are multiple things that, like, it's a full-on set, which is amazing
Yeah.
because it's practical.
Yeah, it's not in the volume for the most part.
Right.
MODOK is one of the things I was thinking about with how CGI is used nowadays.
Yep.
Yeah.
The creator looks a lot better at $80 million than Ant-Man the Wasp looked at, what, 220
Well,
million?
and that's Disney's biggest issue right now as a whole, is they're throwing so much money at these movies that don't need this much money thrown at them.
They just need
And
more
that's why
time to
they're
develop
losing
them.
so much money.
Well, yeah, it's the time thing because it was the conditions. It was the fact that they will be working on a project for 5 months, doing 80 fucking hours a week at least.
Right.
What they need
Like,
to do
they
is
were being
less
so
money.
overtaxed.
They need
Right.
less money, more time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why they're pushing back / like quiet canceling so many shows right now.
Yeah.
Because there was something that happened with
That and the
Vision
strikes.
Quest.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the strikes
Right,
is a huge thing
right.
too, and the fact that Marvel Special Effects has now voted to unionize.
Right.
Like we're entering an age now where we are going to get that time for it,
Right.
because otherwise they're not going to have any projects coming
Right.
out.
Right. Yeah.
Like they're
Throwing money at
so-
something doesn't make it
literally-
move faster.
Literally
Yeah.
everything that was in the works and hadn't finished filming is delayed right now.
Yeah.
Everything for Disney.
Daredevil's getting moved back like a whole year, I think.
And I'm upset
Yeah.
about it.
I am too.
So upset about it.
That was my most anticipated project coming out for
Oh, it's
Marvel.
Charlie Cox, of course it was.
I'm also upset. I'm also upset that Disney Plus is getting rid of their Disney Plus original movies that is no longer on there. And I'm going off topic. I love the movie Clouds that features Sabrina Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie, and they got rid of it. I was so mad that they got rid of that.
Is annoying when they start pulling off original content. It's like you can't watch it anywhere else where you're
Right.
supposed to watch it now.
Right.
Well, the entire thing is they're saying that it's for like tax, right? And like we are definitely getting off topic about this, and I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. We'll end up getting back onto
We
it.
will revert. We will.
Yeah.
Because there's other stuff, Loki, that.
Yeah. There's so much more.
There's
to
so
talk
much
about
more
with
to
that.
talk about.
Yeah.
The entire thing about it is, I'm upset about that in general, at least with Disney Plus, because one of the main marketing pieces for Disney Plus was
Willow.
we're never going to remove anything from this
Yeah.
platform.
Exactly,
As soon
and
as
that
it is
was-
on
yeah.
there,
And
unless
that
there
was
is a
lie.
license agreement.
I mean, the Muppet Show is on that thing.
Yeah.
Like they don't take down anything, but here we are. And they're getting rid of stuff.
Yeah, they're doing
because-
it now.
If they get rid of stuff, they have by right they should put it on disc first,
Yes.
so people at least have a
Yep.
way to own it legally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all it is they're trying to scrape more money right now.
Absolutely. They're trying to avoid bankruptcy.
They're
Which is
trying
getting
to.
close. Surprising. Well, not surprisingly with how they're doing, but they're struggling bad right now.
The thing about it is like they're still profiting a shit ton.
And they
Like
are.
yeah, they're losing some. They're losing some on the Marvel movies.
Mhm.
Elemental made its money back, I believe.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
did. Oh yeah.
Did it?
Yeah.
it did.
They-
It wasn't a flop. A lot of people were saying that it was a flop.
But I mean,
it
that's
flopped.
gotta be
Same
the
for
first-
Little Mermaid. Little
Yeah.
Mermaid made its
Yeah, that
money
was-
back too. I
That
think
was
so.
Pixar's first successful movie since Toy Story 4.
But
That was
here's-
4 years ago.
Here's
Yeah.
the issue we're running into though: is aside from Elemental, let's say that's an outlier for now. The only profitable movies they've been getting are these remakes.
Well, the reason why Onward didn't do so well was because of the pandemic and
Which
the
is-
fact that they immediately
right.
threw it onto Disney Plus. They didn't do a digital
They
release
didn't have,
first.
yeah, they didn't have enough time to earn money from it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Pixar's Soul didn't go into theaters, went straight to Disney Plus,
Which
and
the
that
issue,
was
which is hilarious because those are probably the best 2 movies they've made in years.
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah,
Onward especially. Onward is my favorite Disney animated movie.
Is it really?
For all, yeah,
No,
absolutely.
it's
awesome.
great.
It's
Awesome.
amazing,
I love
especially
that
as a
one.
D&D fan.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Wikipedia right now in terms of. I know we're getting really off topic.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of not talking about Disney. But just looking at the top 10 highest grossing movies of 2023, Disney usually lines up most of the top ones.
Yeah.
Guardians is at 4.
Yep.
Little Mermaid's at 9. No other Disney movies in the top
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
Which Guardians is James Gunn, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, James Gunn is his own separate entity, especially seeing as how he pretty much just runs DC.
And
Right.
Disney's
Cinematic
usually number
universe.
1 too. They don't have a spot until number 4 this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is just ridiculous.
It
And
is.
it's just I honestly don't see, like, they're talking about making a Bambi
Yeah.
live action now.
Don't fucking get me started
Like,
about the fucking remakes, man.
It's just it's ridiculous, and that's all we're gonna get until we get really good.
I'm
original
the one that's
content.
always excited about Disney remakes. I'm sorry. I love Disney remakes.
I just don't see the.
I don't
point, to
mind
be
them doing
honest.
it.
I don't see the point. It's nothing. but a cash
Moana,
grab, let's be
that
honest.
is pointless. Don't remake Moana. That's what it's pointless.
Why not?
They're all pointless.
They're all pointless. All remakes are
No,
pointless.
no,
It's
hold on,
only
hold on,
it's
hold on,
only
hold on,
9
hold on.
years old. It's gonna be 9 years old when it
Well,
comes out 2025.
Not all remakes are pointless.
If-
If it's different content, like obviously remaking Batman or Spider-Man, like it's
Right,
totally
right.
different each
Yeah.
But my
time.
point is, how many of these live action? Let's just call them live action covers, because that's what they are.
Yeah.
Right.
The
How
Lion
many
King
of those
is
have had
basically the
anything
same
different?
thing, yeah.
It is the same
It's
thing.
like one for
the
one.
only thing that the live action Lion King does decently is it has Donald Glover in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. It's not worth it. It's
My-
just not.
My thing about the remakes is the fact that I think the reason why they're doing it is to reach new audiences.
Yeah.
Which I totally get that. I am so fucking for that.
They're doing it to make money.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But they're doing.
But
like,
it's-
they're,
it's to
they're
reach new
making that
audiences.
money by reaching new audiences.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like they're reinvigorating Star Wars, and they're not focusing so much on the old fans as they are about getting new ones.
Right.
That's just, and there are plenty of people that are fucking pissed off about that, and it's
Sure.
like you can go fuck cry on Kate for all I care.
Yeah.
Like what's important is the fact that they're reaching new audiences. My thing about it though is yes, while you can make that argument about the remakes that they're to reach new audiences, which I do because that's how I really see it, other than the money aspect. Because everything they do is for money.
Yeah.
Aside from that aspect, they're doing it to reach new audiences, but it's like when you're going to make a one-for-one remake, there's no fucking point in
There
making the
isn't.
You're
remake.
just spending
There's
money.
none.
That's all you're doing is
Re-release the fucking movie in theaters.
Which they
That's
did
what
for
you
the
should fucking do.
Right,
It
which
would
they
be
did
so
for the
much cheaper,
anniversary.
too.
Right, they did it for the anniversary, but that's about all they do it for.
They should do it more than that.
Absolutely.
That's how you reach new fucking audiences.
Right.
Re-release, revamp versions of past toys.
right.
Except for the jacking off Tarzan from the 90s. That's the one that they should have revamped.
I mean, how many times have they re-released The Dark Knight in theaters?
right.
The Dark Knight, they did it for Lion King. Nightmare Before Christmas has been back twice.
yeah,
now, at
well,
least.
Avatar.
more than twice.
Yeah,
It's been almost every year.
Avatar. Yeah.
Avatar.
Yeah, I just, that's how you fucking do it.
Right.
They want to worry about, they want to be like, oh, we're not, and this is kind of cycling back to where we started. They want to worry about like, oh, well, we don't want to lose so much money, even though they're fucking Disney.
Right,
They make
right,
what,
right.
$9 billion at least in profit every fucking year
At
after paying
least.
everything.
Absolutely.
The fact that they're like, oh, well, we don't want to lose more money, but they're doing shit like that.
Mhm.
Like the Moana thing. The reason why I said why not is because the only fucking defense for the remakes is to reach new audiences, but they're not doing what it would take to not only reach new audiences, but to save money.
Yep.
Because how many parents would take their new kids who probably have never fucking seen these movies before, or they've only ever seen them on TV?
Right.
They would take their kids to go see these in theaters.
Right.
So you're not just getting adults that grew up with the movies.
Mhm.
You're getting families again.
Mhm.
And it's from your own fucking catalog.
Right.
You only had to pay for like a little bit of marketing and for the distribution. That's all you had to fucking pay for. That's it. That's how you reach new fucking audiences. That's how you save the fucking money that you want to save.
Right.
We should probably circle back around to what
Yeah.
Yeah,
So going back to
sorry.
Loki.
Yeah, I just say because I know you got a lot more interesting thing to say about Loki
Absolutely.
season 2 because
I
I'm
continue on that, but-
I'm freaking excited
Yeah.
for new episodes of season 2 of Loki.
So I aim this primarily at Dylan just because he's the main one I know was a fan of the Fox universe. You guys may have absolutely been fans of it too, but
Yeah.
the blast room that they had for the Loom of Time. Tell me that wasn't Cerebro. Huh.
I never thought of that.
I could see that.
Especially the way the doors open up and you have this big expanse room. Me and my dad especially, we saw that's Cerebro.
Yeah.
Which it is interesting because if I remember from the comics, obviously Cerebro enhances Professor X's abilities to reach all mutants. If I remember correctly, now this is I could be slandering here because it may not be true. This is a wild guess, but I'm pretty sure that it also at one point helps his abilities reach through time, not just space. But yeah, so I saw it as Cerebro, and the implications there are, to be honest, kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Especially with the news we've been getting from Deadpool 3, and I'm not sure how much of it is confirmed, but from the rumors, through fans, through people directly involved, it is going to be Deadpool and being involved with the TVA, which helps pick up after he got the wrist time device thing. And the rumored kind of throw out, here's what could be the plot, is Deadpool basically going against the TVA in some way to stop them from pruning all these different universes, and Deadpool recruits people from those universes to stop that, which is why we have him with Fox Wolverine. But it also explains how they're going to tie up loose ends with the final contracts Fox has, because I can't remember any of these names because I'm awful with actor names. But we've got Jean Grey's original actor in
Famke
Fox.
Janssen.
Yep, she's rumored to return. Obviously we got Hugh Jackman. I think
We're supposed to be getting Iowan Grufford, right?
I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And then
Ian McKellen, I think.
Yep, Ian McKellen still is on contract. That's why he was, that's why we've seen him before. So yeah.
Do you think we'll see? It might not be the Fox universe. It might just be all contracts left. Do you think we'll see Incredible Hulk?
Oh, Eric Bana?
No, he was in 2003.
Fight Club.
Oh, Edward Norton.
Edward Norton. Yeah.
We could.
I
I'd love to.
I would love
loved
that.
his Bruce Banner, in my opinion. I really
he was my
enjoyed him.
favorite.
He was awesome.
I don't think so.
The
The only reason why I don't think so is because it was literally just a recast in the MCU. It's not like a separate thing.
True.
If it would have been like a separate thing, I would say yeah.
We've been rumored to have a Hulk project for a while now, and it's only been reinforced once we got his son and the awful thing that was She-Hulk.
I might get butchered for this. I really hope they don't bring in Taylor Swift.
No, that's confirmed. She's not appearing as Dazzler.
Oh god,
That's confirmed.
Yeah.
Well, granted, it could also be a MCU confirm / deny thing, but
Yeah.
I know her fans will get mad about that, and punishment will be swift. But
Don't
you
worry.
just had to fucking go
Don't
for
worry,
it,
bro.
didn't you?
I'll tell
Matthew, be careful. There
Dude,
could be
don't-
Taylor Swift fans watching.
Don't worry.
I know Robbie and Anna.
I'll tailor.
I don't care if they're watching.
I'll
I don't
tailor
like
your
Taylor
suit for
Swift.
the
I'm on
funeral.
record for it.
I don't hate her. I don't hate her. And I was going to tell you, Gavin, also, they're still holding on to that May 3rd, 2024 release of Deadpool 3, which, how's that God going to
Which
God
is-
for second
They're
work?
not.
Well,
If
they're
SAG
not.
the
reason
wraps
why,
up soon, then-
right? The reason why is because here's why I hoped they didn't just push through is because technically, we know Ryan Reynolds. We know how Deadpool 2 was, especially after he was given so much creative freedom. He goes off script a lot.
Yeah.
And even if the main script for the movie was written,
He's trying to catch a
You got
fly.
No, I got it.
let's go, baby.
Fatality.
But even if the main script was written, that means that if they pushed through it when those writer strikes happened, he wouldn't be able to. Legally, because of the strikes, he wouldn't be able to freestyle and go off script. Which wouldn't be.
That kind of ticks me off because I like it when he goes off script.
Right.
Yeah, but
Which
I
is
mean, they
why
were doing it for a good reason. So.
Right. Which is why I doubt that it won't be delayed. It's already been delayed once or twice, I think, because of the strikes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping the Batman 2 doesn't get delayed. They have a little bit of time left. They got a couple weeks left to wrap it up.
Yep.
And I guess Warner Brothers is making it like their top priority is getting the Batman universe.
I don't
fit.
blame them.
I'm not surprised because I'm all in it.
Dude, I'm still mad at Joker. I'm sorry. I'm still mad.
I'm ready for Fall You Do, but I did not like the first Joker movie. So.
No, I'm talking about like the post-credit scenes in the Batman.
With Barry Keoghan?
That it was confused.
Yeah.
Not that I have anything against the guy. It's just they don't need another Joker. I'm sorry.
No,
Anyway,
not so
that's,
soon.
That's
Not so
DC.
soon.
Anyway,
I would save it. I've heard rumors that there's going to be 6 movies. I'd save them for
right.
I'd save them for 3 or 4.
That'd be insane.
Yeah.
And real quick about the Joker, it's a masterpiece. I'm sorry.
Sure.
It is.
No.
It is. I enjoy it.
It's a masterpiece. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
Objectively, it is a very.
It
Well
wasn't.
done
It
movie.
wasn't
It's a
for
very well done
everybody.
movie.
That's true. It was not for everybody. I get it.
But yeah, let's
Anyway,
finish
that's
Loki.
DC. When it comes
Yeah, I'm
to
sorry.
Loki, there's just this episode opened so many doors,
Yeah.
time doors, if you
Yeah.
will. And it's so interesting. Even the small stuff like Miss Minutes being offline.
It was
Yeah.
very timely.
It was. It really was.
How many times do we have to tell you? Not on TV show episodes.
Dylan's like, cut my life into pieces.
This is my plastic torch.
It opens so many doors.
I'm
and
sorry,
it's-
Dylan.
I'm so excited to see what it gets to.
Me too. I can't wait for episode 2.
I mean, it could be the worst pun. Cut my wife into pieces.
Yikes.
This is my last divorce.
Oh man, that would be bad. That would be really bad. Yeah, and he's out. He's out. He's off.
No.
Cut his mic.
Just leaves.
My best cutting impression.
No. So
I thought the cheese is your best cutting expression.
I want to ask what you guys think that this is going to lead to, because there was something that I noticed in the episode, and it's how like they were talking about it pretty consecutively, talking about how everything's branching off, and you can see when they get into the loom how first of all the TVA is centered in the middle of the time stream.
Right.
Like it's not touching it; it exists outside of it. That's the reason why the time rules are different there.
Right.
But when they go into the loom and they open the shutters completely, you see how bad the end of the timeline is just branching off.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Going through Deadpool and then back to Loki, I don't think Deadpool is going to kill off the rest of the Fox timelines. Because I think
I don't think it will either.
the Kang Dynasty and
Yeah.
Secret Wars are going to bring back everybody.
That's the thing.
Well-
They're saying that Secret Wars is going to be sent off for the current MCU and as well for the Fox characters.
Right.
and it's
that's
not
a
just going to be Fox. Like, it's going to be... Nicholas... Was Ghost Rider Fox?
I
No,
don't
that was
think so.
Universal.
I
I
think
say that was Universal.
Yeah. Because I think it's going to be sent
Ghost
off for
Rider?
everybody. Yeah. I think we're getting Nicolas Cage back.
I hope so.
I'd hope.
If we don't get the only other person I will accept as a recast for Ghost Rider at this point is Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Or Norman
Yeah.
Reedus.
Honestly, I'd be
I
so
can see
down
that.
for
I
Norman
can see that.
Reedus
I can see
over
that. Yep, I
Keanu
can see
Reeves.
that.
Love Keanu Reeves. I think that there's something.
it
else that
was
he would
it was Columbia
be better
Pictures.
at.
Huh?
It was Columbia Pictures. Ghost
Okay.
Rider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You're
And-
close.
Either
And
way,
I-
it wasn't Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
we're getting more
yeah.
Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. We have
we
to.
are. We
Oh,
are.
please do. Yes.
There's no doubt.
Andrew Garfield Spider-Man 3 is still rumored to be in the works. It has been for ever since.
It's happening.
We need to. We need
Way
it.
home.
We
I
need
I want to
it.
make it happen.
He's not
Make
too
it
fucking
happen.
old for it. Tobey
Absolutely
Maguire
he's
returned
not.
when he was
Are you
what,
kidding me?
40, 50?
Right, and all the back
Like-
issues he had.
Yeah.
If we
Please.
get Amazing Spider-Man 3, I will appreciate Amazing Spider-Man 2 a lot more.
And I'll say it
Should do
again.
anyway.
I'll say it again. We get Shailene Woodley, who is supposed to play Mary Jane.
Yeah.
We get Emma Stone back as Spider-Gwen from the multiverse
That'd be good.
Yep.
in Amazing Spider-Man 3. Andrew says all the things he wanted to say to his Gwen. She leaves, and then he meets Mary Jane right after.
Well, and that's the thing too is I want the Gwen interaction to be a flashback, and the reason why is because I want Amazing Spider-Man 3 to be what he alluded to in No Way Home, where he was talking about how he stopped holding back his punches. He got really in a dark. Like I want to see like them really take that turn to a darker Spider-Man, because that would be awesome.
And what if that was facing Craven? Since Craven's going to be more R-rated, what if it was...
Maybe.
Yeah, I want them to connect all that.
I'm holding my breath with Craven because I'm not a fan that he has like these
powers.
And
I will admit the
all
trailer
that
looks
stuff.
good, but I'm not that excited.
I
The dude
love
is
it.
ripped.
Yeah,
That's the
no,
same
Aaron
guy
Taylor
from
Johnson's
that's-
fucking insane.
That's the same guy from Bullet Train. It's the same kid who played Kick-Ass. Like, whoa. Like,
I love Venom, but they shouldn't be doing all these villain movies. What they should be doing is Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Man Noir. They should be doing a bunch of different Spider-Man
and
movies.
here's the issue they're running into, and they just don't fully understand the material. Because it's also the same issue that I have with DC, Warner Brothers, and Batman. Is especially...
Matthew is going, don't
Here's
you
the thing.
do
No,
it.
no,
he's
here's
the
thing.
DC
Here's the thing.
guy here.
I don't hate DC at all.
I know.
But like my thing, especially with Batman and Spider-Man, is they need to understand that their rogues gallery is supposed to complement the hero in some way. That is the entire reason those characters were originally created in the comics.
Okay.
Especially, you see that especially in Spider-Man and Batman. Specifically, Batman is so obvious about it because you have Two-Face, who challenges his duality of being Bruce Wayne and Batman at the same time. You have Joker, which is always pushing him. Like, it's always a thing of line is, should I kill him off and finish it off for good? Should I not? Stuff like that. You just have so many. All of his characters are all pushing some aspect of his life and growing the character. Same thing with Spider-Man. Every character and villain you have of his pushes him some way, somehow. And I feel like with both properties, they're just throwing villains in there now, and especially with Sony having individual villain movies now. Those villains are supposed to complement the hero, but if you take out the hero, they're just there.
The only Batman villain that could go off successfully on their own without any connection to other Batman characters would be Harley.
Yeah, absolutely. And because she has predetermined sources in written and Condiment King.
Well, I'm just going to ignore that.
But that's the same reason why we see Venom the only one who has any traction is because he's the only one in the comics that we've really seen a whole lot of growth aside from Spider-Man.
We don't care about Gotham King.
We all fucking love Condiment King. You just refuse to accept it.
That's not what I said.
Let me say this quickly
what you
before
said.
whoever
Before we derail again.
before we even wrap this up. I'm just saying, do Venom 3 and then just quit. We don't need any more villain movies. I'm sorry. Morbius was forgettable. It's not even close.
I think there's...
It's better than Homecoming.
It's not. Shut up.
Shut up. I think that I don't think they need to stop doing villain movies. I think they need to stop doing villain movies where the villains always the villains always depend on the superhero.
True.
That's why Venom is the only one that's really had any traction, is because it's the only one in the comics, really. Given modern comics, I'm not super versed in, but it's the only one in history that we've seen a lot of growth away from Spider-Man with.
Yes.
He's the only main one we can think about. And that's how they had the material for Carnage. We're going to have it for Toxin. I'm hoping eventually they may bring in an Anti-Venom because that would be really cool. I love Anti-Venom as a character. Maybe more of an Agent Venom in the future, possibly. Who knows? But he's the only one that's been so well versed in being away from Spider-Man that they can do that. Not very many other villains, and for whatever reason, they're only doing Spider-Man villains mainly, aside from Joker.
Well,
and
it's
Harley
because it's
Quinn.
Sony.
But
Sony has the rights to them.
and that's true. But it's just they're supposed to complement the hero, and taking away the hero, there's nothing to bounce back with. There's nothing They're not challenging anything except for themselves, and they're flawed characters. That's what they're not flawed as in character development wise, but they're flawed humans in the sense that in order for it to be a good villain, you have to have good reasoning behind it, and you know nowadays you have to be able to like really see it. But at the same time, deep down, the reason they're villains is because they're morally wrong in some way, and you can't have a main character who's morally wrong primarily be a large spin-off cinematic universe starter. And prove me wrong, please, because it'll be amazing to see it do so well. But I mean, from what we've seen, it's just there's not enough there.
Well, that's the reason why I like the fact that they're doing the Madam Web movie. It's because they're moving away from villains a bit.
Yeah.
And like we might be getting a new Spider-Man in it with Adam Scott, which I'd be so down for Adam Scott to be a Spider-Man. But it's like I want to know more about that project because it's done, right?
Right.
Like they fully wrapped up filming and everything.
I think so. Yeah. I think
And
we're
we
waiting
haven't
on that.
gotten any news. Which, granted, like with the strikes and everything going on, they can't really do anything.
Right.
But at the same fucking time, like I don't know.
Do we have any final thoughts on Loki? As we've gotten really off track.
Yeah, we've gotten really off track.
Yeah. I do. I think I know. I have a prediction about how this season is going to end.
Go for it, man.
And it's going to tie into Secret Wars. Because like Secret Wars is still like 2 years out, 3 years out right now.
But it's also the precursor to Kang Dynasty, which
right.
I was gonna say I think they've been moved back to 26 and 27.
Yeah,
I think so. That sounds right.
I think that what's going to happen is because I mentioned the way that the loom looks right now, or the way that the time screen looks outside the loom, because it looks almost like it's unraveling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that what's going to happen is, if there really was a danger to it, which you talking about how like the rogue faction, the TVA, which right now they're just going after Sylvie, but like they could end up doing something else.
Right.
If they end up going to do shit, it could kickstart the end of the timeline, because the current rumor about Secret Wars is that they're rebooting the entire universe.
Well,
they're going to have some of the same castings.
I'm still standing strong with the idea that it's all going to end up with a big bang, just how the run for classic X-Men ended up, and it's going to start a new universe.
Well, I think that it leads me to my predictions about like what Spider-Man 4 is going to be. I think that they're going to introduce Miles, and that I think that Miles is going to end up being the Spider-Man that walks out of Secret Wars.
I can see that,
because I think that
he was a huge player in the
second one. Yeah, I think that that's what they're going to go more on, is the second Secret Wars.
Right, because it's more modern. Yeah. It plays well with what they've already drawn on for.
I have a fan cast for Miles, but I'll save it till after I say what I've watched this week during the main episode.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
The only question I had is I love the episode.
Yeah, it was just really good. I like it. It booted the series up a few places on my list.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is.
Great.
The only last thing I would say really is it's interesting, and it's small. It's not like huge. It's just something interesting that I noticed is that they had blast doors already in place for the loom, which doesn't have to mean this, but it does imply that this has happened somewhat before.
Yeah.
Especially because OB knew what to do.
Yeah.
He wrote the TVA handbook. You have to have experience. It's not just like, oh, it might work. Who knows? He knew how to make the device for Loki.
You kind of sound like Gilbert Godfrey a bit when you did the talking parrot thing.
Who knows what's happening?
Ahoy, mateys!
Yeah. So it's just an interesting little thing to point out that given nobody would really know except for Obi, which we hope to find out more about his character. Like I said, he's got to be, in my opinion, the most interesting character they've introduced so far.
He's a main character this season, so we'll see more of him.
Yeah, I fucking love him. You've been calling him Data. Fun fact: the patches that are on Obi's suit is because of Data.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Keiji Kwan asked about it during production.
I love that.
He's like, "Can we have some patches on the jumpsuit?" They're like, "Hell yeah, for fucking sure."
But yeah, so it implies it's happened before, which I mean, you got to think Kang at the moment is kind of the quote unquote master of time. He's the one leading all this. So I mean, it was bound to happen eventually, to where it could be thought of as kind of a canon event for something similar like this to happen, to where it all unravels if they have things in place for it. And then I know that I said that was my last one, but my last one for sure is it's really cool to see the seeds within Loki's mind of maybe the one who remains was right.
Yeah. How he was like, "Oh, we thought that he was the aggressor here, but he was trying to protect us."
So my long shot prediction is at the end of all this, Loki ends up Master of Time.
Honestly, I kind of be fine with that.
Kang.
Makes sense.
Well, like, okay, I think that we're going to see the future that we saw very briefly play out.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I think that they're going to be like, "Oh no, the timeline's coming undone."
Right.
This is the end of fucking time.
And it makes sense, too, on why Loki specifically, his variants are the ones causing so much trouble within this specific thread from Season 1. To where it could very well have been that the one who remains recognized, okay, if anybody in this entire timeline aside from me had the ability to do what I'm doing and overthrow me, it's a Loki variant. So with that, so much aggression towards them, I think it has some decent standing, at least as an okay theory that he could end up Master of Time.
Right.
Understandable.
And also, Owen Wilson's mustache. I like his mustache.
It was kind of funny because I went from watching the new Haunted Mansion movie to Loki.
Yeah.
So I went from one Owen Wilson to another Owen Wilson. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
One final thought. Let's talk about those family dinners. Owen Wilson works for Marvel. Luke Wilson works for DC.
Yep.
Yep.
But that is all we have for this episode.
Yes.
We'll see you guys next time.
For all time, always.
See ya, crazy people.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I had to pee.
Yeah, we got really off on that episode.
That's alright.
Time for me to pick up some dinner for me.
The rule of thumb.
I need food so bad.
The rule of